Thanks so much, Amanda. We'll see you in just a bit for an update. In today's Parent to Parent segment, once your teen graduates from high school, they will often be ready to take the next step. They want to move out on their own. And while many teens can't wait to move away from mom and dad, what they haven't considered are the costs and what they should know before they move out on their own. It takes more than just wanting to do it. We have some helpful tips now from Pam Mashburn with Potential Magazine. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Potential Magazine, anywhere your teens are hanging out or their parents. So, and if you can't find a hard copy, we'll tell you how to get one of those a little bit later, how you can get more information. This is a big step. And,
it is.
you know, as parents, we know that day is going to come, but sometimes it comes a little sooner than we expect, and we're not quite ready as far as information and what we need to know.
Well, and, you know, these kids are so brilliant. Like, I'm like, handing my phone over, fix that, you know, get that doing whatever it is. But what I heard somebody say, they're not millennials, it's Generation Hopeless, because they can't figure out how to do common sense things.
Yes.
And I think it's because they've been looking at their phones all their lives, and they're not paying attention when we fix the toilet and things like that.
Or they have Google. You remember when we used to have to just think and think and think and maybe go find the big Encyclopedia Britannica. But it's just
old.
All that information is so readily available to them. They're kind of spoiled a little bit.
They are spoiled, and then they get out and they're like, I don't know what I need here.
Yeah.
And so we kind of laugh about it, but one of the things that I thought would be good is just to, I've talked to lots of different parents and have experienced some of my own stories. You probably have some of yours too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Some things that if you've got kids that are about to go off that think they know everything, they don't. We have 10 things you need to make sure they know.
Okay, let's start with what they're going to eat, because that's very important, and a lot of them want to eat out, eat out, eat out, and that's going to add up, add up, add up. You don't have money to do that when you're just moving out, so how can they make sure their meals are good?
Right. So I had a mom tell me a great idea, and that was to make a little like mini recipe cards and just have like 5 go-to meals. And whether it's grilled cheese and tomato soup, whatever it is, like, don't tell me there's nothing to eat and that you can't eat anything, because here's some great things. But also to be healthy and just kind of teach them some real basic cooking skills. And probably the best advice I had was telling them about food poisoning. You know, if the pizza was left out all night, don't eat it for breakfast. Probably not a good idea. And the 3 days for me, all of those kind of things, they don't really know that.
They don't have to, because you've been looking out for them all this time. So that is very important, basic information that we might not think about passing on to them. Another one we might not think about passing on to them are those little things that can happen around the house, like maybe checking things from time to time to see if they're working right or they need to be replaced.
Or even like the electrical panel. Like, I don't think they know what the electrical panel is and how to open and check fuses. How to plunger out the toilet. Come on, guys. You know, and just some basic things like that. I know even like dealing with some of the lock issues. Hair clogs in the sinks or whatever. It happens. It does. You know? And they don't really know what to do about it. And so, you know, then they call the maintenance guy, and I'm like, don't call the maintenance guy. Let me just tell you what you need to do.
For certain things you'll have to, but for those things, no. What about their free time? You know, a lot of times it's a lot more structured, because if you see them sitting around and something needs to be done, you'll tell them, you know, you need to do this, or can you get this done, or something like that, laundry or something like that. Whereas if they're out on their own, those things might go undone for a long time.
And they call it free time. I call it unstructured time. You've got stuff you need to be doing, like, and it may even be homework. You know, they're used to going to school from, you know, 8 to 4. And then they come home and they have a lot of free time, and then somebody else is doing a lot of stuff for them. So it's really about learning how to manage their time. And that, I think that's one of the reasons why college freshmen have such a difficult time in their classwork, is managing that free time or unstructured time.
Because we've been telling them that, or there have just been parameters for them, like you go to school at this time, you leave school at this time. This next one I thought was very important, because I'm not even sure you have to still do this in your driving test, but I have to do it every day. I have an apartment downtown, and if you want to get the good spot, you got to be able to parallel park.
And that's not something that kids have to learn anymore in driver's ed, or they don't get tested on it.
They don't.
They don't. And so, and everybody says, oh, but I never never need to know how to parallel park. Well, that's not true, and especially if they're going off to college. So what I always tell my kids is, we need to learn how to parallel park before you can get the keys, because I don't want you to have to move over and let your girlfriend do this, because I have 3 boys.
I have three sons too. And here's the thing too. I don't care. I have to do it pretty much every day. I still get that sense of accomplishment because that was one of those things I was like, I have to do this. I have to get this. And I'm pretty good at it now. Let's talk more about the car other than parking it. There are basic things they should know about upkeep too.
Right. Getting oil changes. You know, I realized that my older son didn't realize that you don't get it every 2 years, you know, when mom pays for it. You've got to get the oil change. And even checking like tire pressure, things like that. They just don't know about it. Now, I will say that I invested in AAA because I don't have time to run down to Troy or Auburn to figure out somebody getting a tire changed or something.
Absolutely. And that is a good investment if you have the money to do that. That is a great investment. I do the same thing. Just gives me a little bit more peace of mind because you never know when something
or they get locked out of the car.
There. Yeah, get locked out, and God forbid it's sometime late at night or
and
something like that.
I mean, my kids could figure out how to do. They've changed the tire, but if I had a daughter. Those lug nuts are hard.
And like you said, you don't want to be a woman on the side of the street by yourself at all hours of the night. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what to do if you get pulled over by a police officer or a state trooper.
Right, and I don't think they realize that there's a registration thing in the glove box. Or just, you know, keep your hands on the wheel or whatever it is. I think you need to talk to kids about being calm and knowing what to do and how to pull over. A lot of times they don't know, like, they look like they're evading the police because they don't know where to pull over.
Yeah.
So just kind of talk through that with them just so that the first time that happens, they're probably not going to be with you.
Yeah. And really, I don't want to make this a race thing, but you just have to be especially sure if, I have 3 sons.
Right.
That was one of the first things I talked to them about when they started driving, is what to do. Keep your hand on the wheel, stay calm, things like that, because I am one of those people who has to read these stories all the time about things that can happen if things aren't just handled well by the officers or by the people they're pulling over. Absolutely.
Yes, sirs, no, sirs.
Yes, absolutely. Not drinking and driving, all of that stuff, very important. You talk about a basic first aid kit, which I keep in my car. I pack one with me when I go on trips. Very important.
Right, and my kids are, you know, they'll get allergies or whatever, and when they're away, what I did is I just went to Dollar General and bought a bunch of stuff and put it in a box for them and said, here's your first aid kit.
Yeah.
And so when they call me complaining about stuff, I'm like, okay, you need to take this and only take it at night or you're going to be asleep. So, but just having that knowledge and how to like take care of a cut or scrape.
Yes.
I know that sounds really simple, but we've always kind of done that for them.
Yeah, and being a good judge of character is really big. How to take care of yourself in stormy conditions. Sometimes that is very important. What to do if a tornado warning is in your area. But let's talk about this really quickly before I let you go. Those doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, things like that that might go missed, and they might miss something that needs really their attention.
Right, and I think as helicopter parents, which we all kind of tend to be, especially us moms that are kind of let's get it done kind of people, is saying, here's the dentist, I think it's time, go ahead and call them and make this appointment. We don't need to be their schedulers anymore. They can do that. But also to know how to communicate to get things done.
Yeah.
You know, if you're being mean on the phone, probably not going to get things done with the landlord. So let's talk about how to, you know, talk through issues and that kind of stuff. So sometimes coaching them, practicing that a little bit, and knowing even who to call is really important. How to deal with urgent care, having your insurance card, all those kind of things.
Yeah, and asking the right questions. Hey, if you want to know more about this, the article is a part of a lot that you'll find in Potential Magazine, the latest issue out right now with Sweet 16 on the front. And I tell you, these kids look so hopeful and like they got their whole future ahead of them. If you want to find out more about this, pick these up wherever teens and their parents hang out. But if the hard copy is gone, which happens very quickly, they go very fast, how can they find the information?
PotentialMagazine.com. And this is a great article. There's even more suggestions out there, so I hope you'll find it helpful.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Good
Tanya.
advice there. That's a big step, and you want to make sure they're as prepared as possible before they make it.